Ah, Christmas. The time of year when we deck the halls, drink questionable amounts of eggnog, and wonder why we're wearing a sweater uglier than our aunt's fruitcake. But have you ever stopped and thought, where do these holiday traditions even come from? From trees inside our houses to mischievous elves spying on us, the history behind these traditions is often weirder than the traditions themselves. So, grab some hot cocoa, fluff up your ugliest sweater, and let's dive into 10 Christmas traditions with origins so wild, you'll wonder if the holiday spirit was spiked. Spoiler alert, it probably was. Our story begins in ancient Europe, where evergreen trees were the ultimate symbols of resilience and eternal life during the bleakest part of the year. For pagans celebrating the winter solstice, these steadfast trees brought hope and color to a world that otherwise resembled a monochrome apocalypse. The Celts and Vikings, who endured winters as dark and relentless as a Christopher Nolan film, either decorated living trees or brought evergreen boughs into their homes to lift spirits and banish the gloom. These evergreens were thought to possess magical properties. After all, they stayed vibrant and green while everything else surrendered to the cold. Fast forward to 16th century Germany, where devout Christians gave the evergreens a theological makeover. They transformed them into paradise trees, representing the Garden of Eden and Christ's promise of salvation. One enduring legend credits Martin Luther, the Protestant reformer, with adding a celestial touch. After a nighttime walk under a dazzling starry sky, he was inspired to place candles on his family's tree to capture the heavenly glow. The flickering candlelight against the evergreens must have seemed like a tiny slice of the cosmos brought indoors, a divine shimmer to fend off the darkness of winter. By the 19th century, Christmas trees were spreading faster than holiday cheer. In 1848, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert posed with their elaborately decorated tree for an illustrated article in the Illustrated London News, instantly making the tradition fashionable in Britain. Across the Atlantic, German immigrants brought their Tannenbaum customs to America, where the Christmas tree quickly became a beloved holiday centerpiece. Department stores seized on the trend, turning their displays into festive wonderlands, complete with towering, twinkling trees. Today, this legacy endures in grand spectacles like the 80-foot Rockefeller Center tree, while in living rooms everywhere, families continue the ritual, untangling lights, debating ornament placement, and reveling in the evergreen magic that has survived centuries of winter darkness. Mistletoe, despite its festive charm, is technically a parasite that survives by attaching itself to host trees and siphoning off their nutrients. However, this didn't stop ancient cultures from holding it in high regard. The Druids considered mistletoe sacred, especially when found on oak trees. They believed it possessed magical properties such as healing, protection, and promoting fertility. During winter solstice rituals, they would ceremoniously cut mistletoe with golden sickles, taking care to prevent it from touching the ground to preserve its mystical power. In Norse mythology, mistletoe played a more dramatic role. It was the agent of Baldur's death, the god of light, who was struck down by a spear made of mistletoe, his only vulnerability. After his miraculous resurrection, his mother, the goddess Frigg, declared mistletoe a symbol of peace and love. From then on, enemies who encountered each other beneath mistletoe were to lay down their weapons. This myth laid the groundwork for mistletoe's association with goodwill and the tradition of sharing a kiss beneath its branches. The Romans incorporated mistletoe into Saturnalia, a wild winter festival filled with feasting and revelry. The plant's link to fertility and merriment made it a perfect fit for the celebrations. By the 18th century, the English rebranded mistletoe as a symbol of romance. It became custom for couples to steal a kiss beneath the mistletoe to secure their love or avoid holiday heartbreak. While its parasitic nature remains, mistletoe's legacy as a mischievous matchmaker lives on, blending myth, tradition, and a bit of holiday magic. The tale of stockings filled with holiday treasures traces back to the story of St. Nicholas, the 4th century bishop of Myra, known for his acts of kindness. According to legend, St. Nicholas learned of a poor man who couldn't afford dowries for his 3 daughters. To help without embarrassing the family, Nicholas dropped bags of gold coins down the man's chimney. The coins tumbled into stockings that had been hung by the fire to dry, a twist of fate that sparked a tradition of unexpected generosity. Medieval Europeans embraced this story, and hanging stockings became a widespread custom, symbolizing the magic of anonymous giving and delightful surprises. By the 19th century, the tradition of hanging stockings by the fireplace had firmly taken root in England and America. Stockings, once humble woolen socks that barely held a few modest treats, transformed into specially crafted holiday accessories. These early stockings typically contained simple but cherished gifts like oranges, nuts, or small toys. The 1823 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, better known as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," popularized the image of stockings hung by the chimney with care, igniting a trend of filling them with festive goodies. As Christmas became more commercialized, stockings grew larger, made from felt, velvet, and other decorative materials, perfect for holding a variety of small presents. Today, Christmas stockings have become a beloved holiday staple and a reflection of personal creativity. Families customize their stockings with embroidered names, glittery accents, and whimsical designs, transforming them into personalized works of art. Some stockings are themed to match holiday decor, while others feature beloved characters or classic patterns like plaid or stripes. Stocking stuffers have also evolved, ranging from classic candy canes and chocolates to gadgets, gift cards, and even luxury items. Whether minimalist or extravagantly decorated, these stockings capture the spirit of surprise and generosity that began with St. Nicholas and continues to hang by the fireside each holiday season. Caroling has its roots in ancient pagan traditions, where groups of revelers would sing and dance during winter solstice celebrations. These festivals, held to mark the year's longest night, featured songs to ward off the darkness and lift spirits, and perhaps to keep warm in the chill. The original carols weren't strictly Christmas songs, they were cheerful tunes that celebrated the changing of seasons. When Christianity spread through Europe, church leaders saw an opportunity to co-opt these popular traditions. The pagan lyrics were replaced with verses telling the story of Christ's birth, giving caroling a religious twist while preserving the community spirit of the custom. By the Victorian era, caroling had evolved into a more formal and respectable holiday tradition. Carolers would go door to door, spreading festive cheer with songs like "God Rest Ye Merry, Gentlemen, and Hark, the Herald Angels Sing." This period also saw a surge in the publication of Christmas carols thanks to advances in printing. Charles Dickens immortalized the practice in his 1843 novella, A Christmas Carol, where the joyful singing of carolers sharply contrasts with Ebenezer Scrooge's miserly disdain for holiday cheer. The image of warmly dressed singers, lanterns in hand, became an enduring symbol of the season, representing goodwill, community, and the joy of giving. In modern times, caroling has taken on new forms while holding on to its nostalgic essence. Classic hymns like Silent Night coexist with contemporary hits like Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. Flash mobs, choirs, and neighborhood groups keep the tradition alive, whether they're performing on front porches or in shopping malls. Technology has even expanded the reach of caroling, with virtual performances and streaming playlists bringing holiday songs to homes worldwide. While the styles and settings have evolved, the heart of caroling remains unchanged, a celebration of joy, togetherness, and the shared warmth that music brings during the winter season. Before central heating, the winter solstice was a survivalist horror movie. The longest, coldest night of the year wasn't just a metaphorical darkness. It was a very real threat to survival. Norse pagans marked the occasion with the burning of massive Yule logs, which were believed to drive away evil spirits and invite good fortune for the coming year. These enormous logs could burn for days, casting much-needed light and warmth into homes during the bleak midwinter. When the flames finally died down, families carefully collected the ashes, believing they held protective properties. The ashes were sprinkled around homes, fields, and even livestock to ward off misfortune and ensure a prosperous new year. As Christianity spread through Europe, the Yule log tradition was absorbed and rebranded. By the Middle Ages, the Yule log had become a key Christmas ritual in Christian households. A large log, often selected with ceremony and decorated with greenery, was burned on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, symbolizing warmth, hope, and the triumph of light over darkness. Families would gather around the hearth, sharing stories and prayers, while letting the log smolder for as long as possible. Some believed a Yule log that burned out too quickly foretold bad luck. This fiery centerpiece was as much a social event as it was a spiritual symbol, reinforcing bonds during the harsh winter months. In the 19th century, when fireplaces shrank in size due to changes in home design, the Yule log ritual took a delicious turn. Enter the French bûche de Noël, a festive dessert designed to mimic the appearance of a wooden log. This rolled sponge cake, typically filled with cream and covered in rich chocolate frosting, became an edible homage to the old tradition. Pastry chefs elevated the bûche de Noël with intricate details, textured frosting to resemble bark, meringue mushrooms, and a dusting of powdered sugar to evoke freshly fallen snow. Today, the bûche de Noël continues to grace holiday tables worldwide, blending ancient winter survival rituals with sweet, artistic indulgence, a reminder that even in the coldest season, warmth and creativity endure. Let's journey back to 270 CE in Myra, modern-day Turkey. where a generous bishop named Nicholas earned a reputation for his acts of kindness. His most famous deed involved secretly helping a poor family on the brink of ruin. We talked about how, to save the family, Nicholas tossed bags of gold coins through their chimney, which conveniently landed in stockings hung by the fireplace to dry. This seemingly small act of charity cemented him as the patron saint of children, sailors, and all those in need, and inspired the tradition of surprise gift-giving tied to stockings. The Dutch held a special reverence for St. Nicholas, affectionately calling him Sinterklaas. Every December 6th, they honored his memory with festivities and gifts. When Dutch settlers arrived in 17th century New York, then New Amsterdam, they brought Sinterklaas with them. Over time, this figure evolved into Santa Claus, shaped by the melting pot of American culture. Early depictions were wildly inconsistent. He appeared as a thin, bearded man, a tall bishop, and even a mischievous elf. The image of Santa fluctuated between stern and jolly, reflecting the changing views of holiday traditions. Everything changed in 1823, with the publication of Clement Clarke Moore's poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Moore introduced a definitive Santa Claus, with his now familiar traits: a plump, cheerful man with rosy cheeks, a round belly, and a sleigh led by 8 tiny reindeer. Then in the 1930s, Coca-Cola solidified Santa's image in popular culture with a brilliant marketing campaign. The company's artist, Haddon Sundblom, dressed Santa in a vibrant red suit perfectly matching the Coke logo and gave him a warm, approachable demeanor. This jolly, red-suited Santa has been a beloved fixture of holiday culture, and Coca-Cola adds, ever since, embodying the spirit of generosity and festive cheer that began with a kindly bishop in ancient Myra. Advent calendars originated in 19th century Germany as a simple way for families to mark the days leading up to Christmas. Back then, children would draw chalk lines on walls or doors, erasing one each day to count down to the holiday. This straightforward tradition took an exciting turn in the early 1900s thanks to Gerhard Lang, who is credited with inventing the first printed Advent calendars. Inspired by his childhood experience of receiving 24 cookies sewn into a cardboard sheet, Lang's creation included small doors that opened to reveal images or Bible verses. This interactive element captured children's imaginations and quickly spread as a cherished pre-Christmas ritual. The 1950s saw a delicious innovation that solidified the Advent calendar's place in holiday culture: the addition of chocolate-filled compartments. These calendars transformed the countdown into a daily reward, turning each morning into a mini celebration. The concept of hidden treats, combined with the mounting excitement of Christmas, struck a perfect balance of anticipation and gratification. This sweet twist propelled Advent calendars beyond Germany's borders, making them a beloved tradition in households across the world. Beyond chocolates, modern calendars offer an astonishing range of surprises, from Lego sets and beauty products to miniature bottles of whiskey, hot sauces, and even pet treats. What began as humble chalk marks on a wall has blossomed into a global celebration of daily surprises, perfectly blending nostalgia with modern-day excitement as people eagerly count down to Christmas. Eggnog, the creamy holiday staple, traces its roots back to medieval Europe, where a drink called posset, a warm blend of milk, eggs, and spices, was enjoyed by monks and the wealthy. Because dairy, eggs, and spices were expensive, it symbolized luxury and festive indulgence. When the drink reached the American colonies in the 18th century, abundant dairy and cheap Caribbean rum gave rise to the modern version of eggnog. The name likely comes from nog, an old term for strong ale paired with the key ingredient eggs. Eggnog quickly became a winter favorite, symbolizing warmth and abundance. Spiked with rum, brandy, or bourbon and sprinkled with nutmeg, it's a drink designed for toasting the season. Modern eggnog comes in many forms, from homemade recipes to store-bought versions, and twists like vegan or non-alcoholic varieties. Whether enjoyed by the fire or as a festive cocktail, eggnog remains a creamy, nostalgic part of holiday celebrations. Ugly Christmas sweaters started as festive knitwear in the 1950s, known as Jingle Bell sweaters, featuring cheerful holiday designs. By the 1980s, these sweaters became more garish and over the top, with TV shows like The Cosby Show and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation popularizing their tacky charm. In the early 2000s, irony-loving millennials embraced these cringe-worthy knits, turning them into a humorous holiday trend. The first ugly Christmas sweater party in 2002 kicked off the craze, inspiring competitions for the most outrageous designs. Soon, thrift stores and retailers jumped on board, offering everything from 3D pom-poms to LED-lit creations. Today, ugly Christmas sweaters are a holiday staple, celebrated at office parties, pub crawls, and on National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. Whether worn for laughs or nostalgia, they spread festive cheer and proudly bad taste every holiday season. Elf on the Shelf began as a family tradition in 2005, thanks to the book The Elf on the Shelf, a Christmas tradition by Carol Aebersold and her daughter Chanda Bell. The story introduced a scout elf who watches children during the holiday season and reports back to Santa each night. Each morning, the elf appears in a new spot, sparking excitement and sometimes dread in kids who wake up eager to find their mischievous visitor. The concept took off like a reindeer-fueled sleigh ride, becoming a household phenomenon. Parents got creative, placing elves in increasingly elaborate and sometimes comical scenarios. These pint-sized spies weren't just sitting on shelves, they were zip-lining through kitchens, making snow angels in flour or getting tangled in toilet paper rolls. The interactive nature of the tradition added a playful twist to the countdown to Christmas and turned social media into a gallery of elf shenanigans. Today, Elf on the Shelf has evolved into a full-blown holiday industry, complete with themed accessories, clothing, and even spin-off characters like elf pets. The elves have cemented their place in modern Christmas culture, delighting children while giving parents a nightly reminder that holiday magic often requires a little extra work. And that wraps up our list of Christmas traditions with origins stranger than a re-gifted fruitcake. But trust me, if you think these are wild, wait until you hear about some traditions from around the world. Did you know that in Japan, millions of families have KFC for Christmas dinner? Yep, nothing says Merry Christmas like a bucket of fried chicken. Or how about the mysterious Christmas pickle hidden in trees here in the US? Why a pickle? No one really knows, but finding it is supposed to bring good luck. If you want to dive deeper into these bizarre holiday customs, and many more, check out our video on Christmas traditions from around the world. Click here and prepare for a festive journey full of fried chicken, hidden pickles, and some seriously strange celebrations. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more holiday weirdness. Until next time, stay cozy, stay curious, and keep that Christmas spirit finger-licking good.